Hello, viewers. It's a very beautiful evening here in Ghana. And today we are very blessed to have on the show a Ghanaian who is a legend, who is very celebrated in Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, join me introduce Mr. Kofi Jantuah. Hello, sir. If you can hear us, welcome to Kboxtv.
Thank you to for having me.
It looks like your mic is muted.
Oh, it shouldn't be.
Okay. Uh,
You hear me?
okay. All right. Yeah, I can hear you now. Can you hear us?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay, all right. And thank you again for coming on the show. Many Ghanaians have been wanting to have you on the show so we can talk about some things that you said in the Kumasi based radio. So we're very glad that you were able to, make time to come on our show.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. This is Kbox TV, a show that connects fighters, legends, boxing people closer to the fans. For the many people who might not be able to know who you are, I would like for you to just introduce yourself a little bit, and then we'll take it from there.
uh, that's a tough one. Okay. Uh, like you said, my name is Kofi Jantuah. I'm
Right,
from. I grew up in Kumasi. I
right,
started back in Kumasi, and then I end up in Accra, and
right,
then finally relocate to the States.
all
Uh,
right.
My first stop in the States was in Los Angeles. I was there for a
Oh,
little while. Then I moved to Las Vegas.
all
And
right.
ever since, I've been here in Vegas. So that's what it is.
Great. That's a very beautiful story. We don't really get to hear the African fighters make it. Jantua has been one of the legends representing Ghana in the US and making sure that Ghanaians get the opportunity to fight out there. Now, Mr. Jantua, I would like to take you back a little bit. When you were in Ghana, how was it like in your days boxing in Ghana?
Coming up when I was coming into the game, it was different. We used to have a good, say, amateur program back in the day. You know,
Right,
even though I didn't compete in amateurs, but I knew that there was a program. And me coming from Kumasi, if you know the terrain of boxing in Ghana, you know that coming from
right.
Kumasi is hard because
True.
there wasn't any gym, there wasn't a lot of facilities
Mm,
to get into it. And it took me a while to even to get into boxing. I think I was about 22 before I was introduced to boxing. You know,
okay,
and
okay.
from there the process was hard because say even to get to a gym, I used to live. I don't know if you know more about Kumasi. I used to live in Krofrom, like Krofrom.
Kofrum. Yeah, I
Krofrom.
know Kofrum very well.
There was a place called Adrian Quanta. That's in the center of Krofrom, and for me to get to a gym, I had to run to the Kumasi Stadium, Kumasi Sports Stadium every morning.
Wow.
Just to go get the basic training. And
Right.
beside that, even when you get to the stadium, it wasn't like there's any gym. It was just a little spot, with the some concrete floor and a mango tree, and there's one bag hanging underneath, and that's all it was. And but my determination, to succeed or to pursue boxing was, very big, and that pushed me through to be able to break through the ranks in the boxing in Ghana. I think we're having a technical difficulty.
All right, so sorry about that. We were having a little bit of a network problem.
I see that.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay, all right. But I heard everything that you were saying. I mean, you're talking of your story from Kofum and running from Kofum to the stadium where they had a very big park for you to train and all that because there
Yeah.
was no gyms available on your side. But my question was, what was the motivation to do that? Because obviously everything around that side was like, no, you can't do it. But then you kept going until you were able to reach the goal
Yes,
that I mean you yeah.
that's very true. I mean, how I became a boxer or what got me into boxing is still some kind of mystery to me because
Right.
growing up in Kumasi, boxing it wasn't something that anybody think about or anybody talk
Right.
about. I
Right.
never even really saw anybody who was being a boxer. But there was one time where I used to live in Krofrom. We were in the main street of
Okay.
over there, and we used to have this table tennis board in front of our
Okay.
house that we used to play, and we used to gamble, and it was a big thing at that time over there, and most of the young guys, everybody we used to assemble there and play gamble, turn into fight, and a whole lot of stuff. And then one time we were playing the game, and then I saw some man walking into our house. Even one of my friends drew my attention to it, like, hey, somebody, get in your house. I think he's looking for your dad. So I stopped playing and I ran to the man.
Okay.
And I asked him who he looking for. He said, yeah. He told me, oh, my name is Mr. Prempe. I remember the
Okay.
name very well. He was
Right.
a light skinned, very nice looking man. And he asked me, where's your father? And at that time, my father was out of town. My father was in Accra. So I told him my father was out of town. And he said, oh man, I came all the way from Accra to see your father and he's not here. And that wasn't the time that there was not a lot of phones, there was not a lot of communication at that time. So people used to just show up in your house just to look for you. It was one of those incidents. So when he got there, I started talking to him. He told me, "Oh, say walk with me, walk with me." So we started walking, and he started asking me questions like, "What you doing?
All right.
What you doing?" And I was like, I think I was in school at that time.
Okay.
I was in high school at that time, I think. Yeah. So I walked with a man for about 2 miles. I quite remember, and we were
Okay.
having a conversation.
All right.
And he told me, it's like, your father was a very strong. He started telling me about story about, he told me a story about my father and how, he told me he grew up with my father. They grew up in Ashanti Newtown, Ashtown.
Oh, okay.
Together.
Ashdown.
Yes.
Mm.
He said he grew up with my father. So he knew a lot about my father. He told me a lot of things that I didn't know. So your father was
Okay.
this, your father was that, he was tough, this.
Mm.
So he asked me, get to a point, he asked me, so what do you want to do? What do you want
Okay.
to do? What do you want to do with your life? I said, I don't know. I don't know. It's like, are you strong? Are you strong like your father? I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, hell yeah. And then that's one thing that I knew for sure that because I was on the street and it was rough. And fighting is like nothing to me. Every day in school, whatever, like I was always in some kind of fight or so always in some kind of trouble. So I told him, I said, yeah, I'm right. I mean, I don't know any kid in my block or anybody that can mess with me when it comes to like fighting.
Right.
He was like, nah, I don't think I don't. He started playing with me. It was like, yeah, I can fight. It's like, how do you know you can fight? I said, because I went fight. I beat people easily on the street. It's like, and he told me that doesn't count. It doesn't mean nothing. So he started challenging me. I was like, so what are you talking about? It's like, if you think you're strong, the real strong guys, they do something with their strength. They do. I was like, something like what? Right. The only way you have to prove that you're strong is like you got to be somebody. It's like, no, not that way. You got to be able to do something that make you relevant with what you have.
Right.
So I asked him, so what is that? He said, do you know about boxing? I was like, boxing? There's no boxing here. Nobody do boxing in Kumasi. We all, we all, everybody is into soccer. I mean, growing up, most of my friends were soccer players. Aseko Manokia, all those guys were my age group. We grew up together. We used to play, even though I wasn't a good soccer player, but I always have to play. Most time it turned into fight. But I was the one, even when they pick start, you know how you get in the game, they pick, and if nobody pick me, then it's gonna be a problem because why that nobody gonna pick me? They tell you suck. I say no, I got to play, or nobody's gonna play. And most time it turn into fight, So, so this was kind of life that I was living. So this man was like, if you really think you're strong, I think you got to do something. You can be a boxer if you think you're strong, like you're saying, because you're used to fighting a lot. So why don't you try boxing? I was like, I don't even know where where boxing gym is. There's no boxing gym that I know of. And he told me, if you want to be a boxer, you can find a way. It's like, how? It's like, Kumasi Stadium. I say, yeah. But he said, he told me, I think they have a program there. They have a coach there that teach people boxing. So he can give it a try.
Okay.
I was like, huh. So from that moment, it locked in my head. It locked in my head like boxer. It couldn't get out of my head. So we keep working and it get to a point. It's like, okay, it's good. You can go back home. I got to, I'll continue. So I turn around and when I was going home, all of a sudden my whole thought process was being a boxer. From there, it didn't stop. So the next day, I woke up in the morning early, I think maybe 4:30, and I started getting on my journey to stadium. I run, I get tired, I walk, I run, get tired, I walk until I get to the stadium. And I got there, and there was nothing. I asked the security, I was like, where is the boxing guy? Where did they train? And he pointed to me that, okay, this year, right here, but the coach is not here yet. He'll come around maybe by 6:30, 7. So I hung out there till the coach show up. And I walked to him, I was like, Coach, my name is Kofi, and I want to be a boxer. He looked at me, was like, why do you want to be a boxer? I was like, I don't know. I want to fight. I want to be a boxer. So that's how everything started, And then he started teaching me. So every morning I'll get up, run there, train, get back, gradually, and then I start catching fire. And then from there, I realized that the competition is not in Kumasi. So I have to, find a way to get better, training. So I relocated to Accra, and when I get to Accra, I was staying at Taipa, and I knew some people that knew Azuma, so they get with Azuma, and Azuma was allowed me to come to his gym and train. So that was the beginning. And then I started fighting over there, and you know how the funny thing is being a guy from Kumasi and going to Accra to fight those guys, like, man, no, you don't belong. They let you know that this boxing is not Ashanti people stuff, man. They'll tell you face. Like, you know, sometimes they will meet them, so, man, this that the Kumasi boy abayile. No, I didn't really understand the guy, but they say that abayile for so long. I started to understand that, okay, me, they're talking about me, they're gonna beat me. Okay.
Right.
So the funny thing, one time we were going to a weigh-in for a fight. There's a lot of guys coming. Oh, no money, Kumasi boy, Then I look at them, I said, Bayi noko noko. Like, I just said that.
Bayi noko noko.
Yeah, Bayi noko noko. They stopped and look at me, like, what? I said, Bayi noko.
Interesting.
The funny thing about the Accra, you know, but the boxing fans in Accra is like, they're gonna challenge you, you know, they're not gonna let you in easy. But
that's true.
They realized that they couldn't get me out because I started winning. Every time I win. You know, beginning they thought they were gonna use me as an opponent, like somebody that they're gonna beat. Then I beat my first guy, beat the second guy, and they keep bringing them, I keep winning. So from there, I start, you know, I start getting their admiration. They start, you know, some of them start believing, some of them start coming around. I remember there was a guy who was very popular there. His name was Kalamula. Kalamula was like, man, this Ashanti boy is not joking, you know. He's not joking because they keep bringing the guys that was at my level at that time, and I was running through them.
Okay, interesting.
Eventually, they had to accept me. I had to become one of them.
Right.
You know, then I moved on from there, became an African champion, became a Commonwealth champion, and then I relocated to the States.
I want to know, I mean, how big was the influence of Azuma Nelson on your career?
It was a big deal because watching Azuma growing up watching Azuma on TV and all that, and then I got to meet him and start training with him, and then start getting to spar with him. That gave me a lot of motivation. You know, that was very inspirational because here's a legend that you've been watching on TV, and you never even dream of meeting him or talking to him, and all of a sudden you're training with him, you're sparring with him, it's hitting you and you're hitting him back. So that was like, okay, you know, that gave me the feel that, okay, I'm here, because it doesn't get bigger than that. That being able to share a ring with Azuma Nelson was a big deal. So that was a very, very big motivation for me.
All right.
And
great.
Beside the boxing side of it, another thing that motivated me a lot was seeing the guys that I grew up with, especially Oseko, Antonio. I knew Antonio, but Antonio was a little older than me, but we grew up in the same area. So I knew him. Okay. I was looking at those guys like, okay, it's possible that, you know, you can elevate, you can get to, you know, this level and compete in the highest level with this, you know, the best of the world. So those was kind of what things that motivated me a lot, like Emmanuel Dua, you know, Thomas Dua, those Makadu said, they were all, I was in there with all of them. They were all my friends growing up.
Okay. Okay.
But Tony Yeboah was the first guy that I knew personally that get to the level that I look at us like, because back in the day, you used to watch TV, and it wasn't even very common to get to see most of European games back then, especially in the
That's
80s,
true.
90s. It wasn't. So when Tony Yeboah started getting up, that was something that locked in my head. Like, I know Tony from here. And I've seen where he's at now and where he's going, So that was more like, man, I want to be there. I want to be able to get to that level. That was a personal motivation. Seeing somebody that you know close and personal, being able to get to that level. Because when you watch those guys on TV, you never dream or think that it's possible for you to come from the street to get to that level. So that was a very big motivation for me. And then I got to meet Azuma as a boxer, and then being watching him in the world stage and going against the best in the world was extra. So those things give me, kept me going, like push me, like, okay, you got to do. If you push it harder, you can get there. It's possible.
Right.
It's
If you
possible.
push harder, you can get there. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest on the show is a former Ghana light welterweight champion. He's also a former Commonwealth welterweight champion, a former WBC international light middleweight champion. We've heard a story of how he left Kumasi, came to beat all the guys in Accra, including the guys in Bukum, and was able to make it into the States. All right. I mean, there was one thing that you almost achieved, which was the world title. You got a shot at it, but you weren't able to become the world champion that you had wanted to become. I mean, I'm talking about the fight against Kasim Omar and then Arthur Abraham. I mean, I mean, for you, I mean, of course, in Ghana we celebrate you, and I'm sure the world also celebrates you as well for all these things that you've achieved, especially coming from a place which is not a very known for boxing. For me and many Ghanaians, we really celebrate you a lot. But for you, that you were not able to reach that world title goals, I mean, how does that make you feel?
It's a dream of every fighter to become a world champion.
Right.
But the reality in boxing is not everybody gonna be a champion.
True.
And I look at my background and where I came from and with what I had, I knew what I lacked. In boxing is a very sport that you got to be real with yourself. It's a reality. You try your best, but it get to a point that the skill in the game play a big role as you progress. And in my case, I was very limited. I had very, very limited skill as a fighter.
Right.
Because I didn't get to learn boxing from when I was young. I learned that even being in America, that right now I'm a trainer. I train a lot of people.
Right.
Most people here start boxing like when they're like 7 years, 8 years. They start bringing them to the gym. Then they start learning the basics. Another example, like in Accra, these people like they born in there, they born into it. So they get introduced to the game from their childhood. So they get chance to learn the basics of boxing. True. In my case, I was more of a fighter than a boxer. I wasn't a good boxer. I was more of a fighter. But in the boxing game, you have to be able to box and fight.
True.
And I was lacking the boxing side of the game. I didn't have that a lot of ability in being a boxer. But my determination and my hard working was able to carry me through to the level that I was able to compete in the highest level. But at the same time, when you get to the highest level, if you don't belong, you're going to be exposed, because you're dealing with the guys that have been doing it doing it to the certain level, and you jumping to them. So it's one of those things that even though people look at me like, oh, you're strong, you're tough, but in my mind, I knew my limitation.
Right.
I knew what I had and how I can use it. I knew I was tough. I wasn't scared to get hit. I can punch. So I maximize that. I work hard on every little aspect that I have to the best of my ability. So, and then you get in a fight, because you get in a fight and the fight start going. My game throughout my career was to be able to dominate you, to overcome you, overwhelm you with my brute force and my strength and my, my pressure to break you.
Right.
But the fact is, in boxing, you're not going to be able to break everybody, and you're not going to be able to knock everybody out.
Right.
Especially in the case of Kasim Umer's fight, my plan was to overwhelm him, to make it a fight. But he also had his game plan of coming. He knew that I can punch coming in, so he didn't want to make it a fight.
Okay.
He came to box.
Yeah.
He came to box, and that was my lacking.
Okay.
Because when it became a boxing game, I couldn't adjust.
Okay.
I couldn't adjust to his game. Because I couldn't force him into fight. Most time, I pressure people and I force him into getting into my game. I pull them into my fight.
Okay.
But he didn't let me pull him into my fight.
Into your fight.
I have to play a catcher.
Right.
I have to play a catcher throughout the fight. In my game, I was trying to get him and hit him with one shot and maybe knock him out. And it never happened. And he won on points.
Yeah.
So, and then with at Abraham fight, was one of the fights that I didn't feel defeated in a fight. Because there was, one thing I don't do is I don't like complaining. Win or lose, win or lose. But the fact is, you go to Germany to fight this guy who he's the guy based in Germany, and this promoter, everything was built on them.
Right.
We get there in the evening. We're supposed to weigh in boxing. We're all supposed to be here. You're my opponent, my trainer, everybody's supposed to be here. You show up, you get on a scale, I see how much you weigh, I get on a scale, because it was a title fight.
Okay.
These people didn't even pick us up. By the time we got there, they have weighed in already and gone. So I don't even know if they make the weight or not.
Wow, crazy.
That exactly, that can never happen in the States, because States, it can never happen. States, they make sure everything is fair. Over there, we got there and they're like, you're late. And then he waited and they left. I was like, wow. But his promoter is a guy that was supposed to pick me up from the hotel and bring me here. And they didn't do that. So how is that my fault that I'm late?
Right.
They told me to be ready at a certain time, and I was ready. We waited for about 30 minutes to an hour before they show up to pick us up. We got there, so he's waiting and gone. And then, okay, it doesn't matter. It's a fight. So we get in there and we fight. He just wanted to finish. He wasn't trying to fight. You look at the fight, I don't know if he wants to fight. I keep pressing it and pressing it and pressing it. You want to 1-2, grab me. He did whatever he got to do, and then he went on decision. And I knew that over there, if I'm not going to be able to knock him out, there's no way they're going to give me a decision.
No, but so if the guy didn't even weigh in your front, then you obviously know that it's not going to go for you.
I wasn't expecting anything. My whole thing was to be able to call him with a good shot and knock him out. And it didn't happen. And over there, I know for sure the decision is not going to go to my way.
I mean, you're one of the boxers from Ghana that has a very fantastic record in terms of knocked out. You weren't an easy opponent for you to be knocked out or knocked down by opponents. Even if you're fighting outside Ghana, you always make sure that you went to the end of the round.
Yes.
I mean,
The thing is, when you come to the States, when I got here, basically nobody knew who I was.
Right.
I didn't have no background. I didn't know any. I didn't have anything around me. So you have to sell yourself. You have to put yourself out there. And as a fighter, for you to sell yourself to get in the ring and perform. And one thing I realized is in America, the fans and the people, not just in America, people in general love to see people going hard and knocking people out.
Right.
So every fight that I get in, I go out there with the mentality that, okay, I gotta find a way to knock this guy out. You know, and that's what get me the recognition here, because nobody knew who I was, but I was able, I think with about my first fight, second fight, the third fight I had was a TV.
Okay.
It was a national televised TV on Fox. And then I put on a show. And then right from that, I started getting calls. That's why I ended up with the team.
Oh, okay.
And then another fight, I fought another guy. His name was Daniel Santos. Daniel Santos was very promising that time. He was, at that time, I was 13-0 undefeated. He was 16-0 Olympian. He was Olympic medalist, Puerto Rican.
Okay.
So he was very highly regarded. And I remember I fought this guy. They called me into that fight in a short notice. It was about a week.
Right.
But my thing was, when I got here, I knew what I came here for. So it was all about boxing. So every day I was in the gym, I was training, I was running, I was doing everything.
All right.
But 1 week to prepare for a fight is never enough, because no matter how well you train, whatever,
or better,
you need time to spar, to steady fight and all that. But I didn't get a chance to do any of that. They called me. It's like, you know, this can be an opportunity for you. It's a TV fight. It's ESPN fight. You know, you got to take a chance.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I'll take the fight.
Right.
And the funny, you know, it's a lot of challenge. I went through a lot of challenges, but I didn't let any of that get to me.
Right. Right.
They told me at that time I used to fight at welterweight, 147. That was the weight limit for welterweight. So they told me, okay, the fight is a welterweight fight. I was in Los Angeles. We flew into Las Vegas. The fight was supposed to be on Friday. It was a Friday night fight, ESPN Friday night fight.
Right.
So we get here on Wednesday. On Thursday, we're supposed to weigh in. So we're going in there, we check in. I get on a scale, I think I was 146, 146. That was below the limit. And then this guy got on a scale, he was 157. He weighed me over 10 pounds.
Yeah, over 10 pounds.
So I was like, these people trying to set me. First of all, you give me a 1 week notice. And beside that, you put me against a guy that's above my weight. That was a middleweight.
Right.
The guy was a middleweight. So I confronted the promoter. It's like,
okay,
this is not right. So I talked to the commissioner that this is wrong. The guy has to go lose some weight, or the fight is not going to happen.
Okay.
And then Bobaro, Top Rank, was the promoter for that fight. I remember he called me on the side. He was like, Kofi, listen, this is the main event. If you pull out right now, it means this whole card has to be scrapped.
Okay.
So, and the guy, it is what it is right now. He's 157. You're 147. Right. You're a fighter. What do you want to do? What are you going to do?
Right. Right.
You got it. You say nobody know you here. Nobody know you in America. You are nothing. But we're giving you the opportunity to get you on TV. So I look at him as like, this is not an opportunity. You're setting me up. It's like, no. You gotta look at, yeah, you're setting me up for your fighter to have an advantage of me. But you're
Right.
sitting here telling me that you give him an opportunity.
Right.
You said, okay, look at it in this way. This is a ESPN fight. It's a national televised fight. Everybody
Right.
got to see you. If you go out there and perform, win or lose, you're gonna get some recognition. So then I look at him, so I start coming around. So okay, then there has to be some incentive for me
Right.
to accept the fight under this condition, because
right.
it's not acceptable that my opponent outweigh me by 10 pounds.
Right. Right. Right.
So Bob is a businessman. He's a good promoter. So he was able to convince me that, okay, this is, at that time we have negotiated our price already. The contract has been signed already. I know whatever I'm going to make. But I knew that I had a grounds to get more money.
Okay.
So I told him, then you're going to have to compensate me for taking that risk, because 10 pounds is a lot.
Yeah.
So he said, so what are you proposing? I say, you gotta pay me more money.
Right.
So we right there, me and him, it was just me and him. We sat there and we negotiated. And he said, okay, I'm gonna make you an offer.
Okay.
But it's gonna be one way.
Okay.
I said, okay, throw it out. So it's okay. This is what I can do for you.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you 5,000 extra.
Okay.
If you win the fight. I was like, if I win. Said, yes. That's supposed to be a motivation for you to even try harder.
That's true, right?
I was like, but what if I lose?
Right.
Then it's like, if you lose, then you lose. You lose everything. Because this is supposed to be an opportunity for you.
Right.
The writer sit there and look at him. I was like, listen, man, I'm not gonna lose.
Yeah.
I've never lost a fight. I'm not gonna lose.
Right. Right.
I'm gonna beat this guy. So he looked at me, it's like, okay, then we have a deal. Then I say, yeah, we shook hands on it. The fight happened. And that was an experience.
Right.
That guy was a very good fighter.
Right.
He was a southpaw, very tall,
right,
very skillful. That guy was, in the 1996 Olympics, he went to Olympics with Mayweather and those guys. He was Olympic.
Okay.
He was adjudged the best fighter in that Olympics. Danny Santos.
Oh, okay.
If you look him up, he was a very promising. So, but I didn't know any of that at that time. I didn't know much about him. I didn't know any
about him at that time. Okay.
At that time, yeah. So I said, okay, it's a fight then. So the next day we get in there, we get in the fight. The fight start. The first round, lightning quick. The guy, pop, pop. It's like, damn, it's different. You know, it's like, welcome to the big stage.
Right.
You know, but my God's like, okay, we got to dig deep. So I start pressing. And I think the fight was competitive throughout, because he was fighting, I was fighting, I was pressing him, I was throwing wild punches, I was doing whatever to neutralize him. But he was a good boxer. He moved, jab, he was doing his thing, and I was doing my thing. My whole thing was to close up on him.
Okay.
So gradually, in the fifth round, I think I was able to close up on him. And then the fight ended right there. I hit him with one overhand right, and then boom, I knocked him out. That was like, wow. That was like, no, it didn't happen. You know? I remember
was on State TV, ESPN.
ESPN. I remember that. That was the first time I met Tommy Hanks.
Okay.
After the fight, Tommy Hanks like, damn kid, you are tough cookie. You didn't know where I came from.
Right.
You don't know where I came from. You know, he told me like, I see that you're tough, but you're very limited in skill. You know, just keep working. You know, he talked to me, advised me to keep working on my game, and I can do something. He said, man, I see something in you. Keep working hard, and I think you're gonna do great. You know, so that was the beginning of my journey. So from there, I started getting recognition. I started, winning. You know.
Great. I mean, we've been wanting to ask you this question. I mean, we have about some few minutes to end the show, but everybody in Ghana is asking that. How did you land with the Mayweathers?
It's one of those things. You know, when I moved from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, the first gym I ended up in was where Mayweather was.
Okay.
His father, his uncle Roger, Jeff, they were all in the same gym. So I got in there. At that time, he was coming up. You know, he was a young prospect coming up.
All right.
From there, we became friends. We were used to train together. We were used to hang out, do stupid stuff, a lot of stuff together. But Floyd wasn't the Floyd today. Floyd was a different person back then. He was, he was cool and everything. He's still cool, but we have different side of him. He can be cool, he can be crazy. He's it is what it is.
Right.
You know, I got opportunity to train with them. His uncle, his father, they all helped me in my progress. So I've known these people for as long as I've been here. You know, talking about 18 years. You know. So I was at the same time we end up being under the same promoter. You know, the Top Rank was promoting him, and we used to train at the Top Rank's gym. Top Rank had a gym that all his fighters used to train at, and that's where we used to train. We used to train together. Sometimes we fight on the same card. We do stuff, and it get to a point. Floyd bought himself out of the contract. He started promoting himself. He started Mayweather Promotions, and he pulled me along and said, "You got to come with me." So I start, at that time I was towards the end of my career, so I started moving with him. I went in there with him, and then when I stopped fighting, then I start working with them, as a trainer. So it's been a long journey with those guys.
Great. And Floyd was supposed to come to Ghana in 2018. I mean, I don't know if you know, but maybe you can tell us. But why didn't he come?
He was supposed to come. Yes, we were supposed to come, but Floyd is about. That's why he called himself money. It's about the money.
Right.
He got an offer. When he was supposed to come, in was it December or November, December somewhere. And somewhere along the line, something came up. He had an offer to go to Japan for some exhibition fight.
Oh, okay. So that was the fight.
Yes, that was how he went there and fought that Japanese kid. They paid him about $10 million, and there's no way he's gonna turn that money down. Yeah, I remember we talked about that. He's like, man, I'm going to your country, man. I'm going there. I'm gonna go see your people and all that. He was looking forward to it, but something came up and he went out of the window.
Yeah. Maybe when you come to Ghana to revive boxing in Ashanti region, like you said on Akuma FM, maybe you could bring him up. You could bring him to Ghana.
Yes, I always talk to him. He's been saying that, I want to go to Ghana. He has a friend. I think there's a guy, some Bediakon guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Ghana, right? Freedom.
Yeah, in Ghana, he's cool with him. So he told me that, yeah, me and this guy were trying to do some projects in Ghana. So
That's right.
eventually, I think he's gonna be in Ghana, but I don't know when. I don't know.
Okay.
Because last year, late last year, he said he was gonna go to Ghana. He said it again before when they were doing that homecoming thing.
The year of return.
The year of return thing, yeah. He mentioned that he was gonna go to Ghana, and I don't know what happened. It didn't go. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I want us to touch a little bit on the comments you made on Akoma FM that, I mean, you're thinking of coming to revive boxing in Ghana. I mean, that was one of the reasons why I wanted to get you on the show. I mean, could you speak to that?
Yes. I mean, as at now, you look at Kumasi and it's like still there's nothing. You know, and so I've had a program. I've been here, I've been around, you know, in the program. I understand how things work out here, how the gym run, how you have to come up with. So I have a program that I want to come and start.
Okay.
You know, it's something that can benefit the whole Ghana. But my thing is, I want to start it from Kumasi because that's where I'm from and that's what my root is. So it's something that I'm very, very interested in. I was thinking about coming home even last June, but everything, you know, everything get messed up with this Corona thing. So right now, I don't really know when it's gonna come back open and all that. But I still have that program there. I got to come there and talk to Nana Santehine and get him involved, and then we can implement that program from there. And I think it's something that can help, you know, the whole country because there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of opportunity for, you know, a lot of people to be able to do something if they get you know, the chance to, you know, do boxing. But Ghana is everything is, you know, evolving around soccer, but boxing is a great way of, you know, helping other people. Is, you know,
that's true.
It took me out of the street. I don't know where I would have been. I would have been in Kumasi doing those kind of nonsense stuff that goes on over there. I was right there with all of them, all the gangsters, all the nonsense. I was part of it. But when I get into boxing, it helped me, you know, draw out of all that and, you know, focus on something. So these are the things, you know, that help kids. Everybody think they're tough. You know, you go to Kumasi. When I was coming up, I was, you know, tilting towards that. But back then we used to have Mokobili. There was a lot of names that they were trouble. You know, fight for no reason. I was tilting towards that because you just it's more like a territorial. You want to show, you want to play, you want to show that you're tough. You know, you want to dominate, you want to go here and conquer. And I had a reputation like that, you know. From Dicham to Crossroad Meister, everybody knew who I was. And I was heading towards that direction. And that was something that I didn't want to do because you become like ruthless, you become lawless. You just want to do, the society turn you into like a monster.
That's true.
That's how those people became. But I remember Mokobili and Mokobili used to live in the same, I don't know if you know about Mokobili. He was a very notorious back then in Kumasi.
I don't know the name.
Okay, but if you ask, you know, those guys in Kumasi, you know, they know, they will tell you.
Oh, okay. All right, interesting. I mean, I saw an interview of you. You granted ES News, and then he said Akufo-Addo was one of your friends. I mean, the president of Ghana.
Yes.
I mean, would you make every Ghanaian boxer a favor of talking to him to help Ghana boxing?
That's very important too. I wish, you know, right now I don't have a lot of contact with those people, and I'm here. Whenever you're trying to get to people, it's a whole lot like chain reaction. You got to talk to somebody, and I don't like that.
That's true.
Like if I'm able to get to Ghana right now, I will go and talk to Nana. Say, hey, Nana, this need to be looked at.
That's true.
Nana, I know Nana since I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
Nana and my father were very, very close friends.
Okay.
So I got to know Nana and all those MPP people, way back when I was a kid.
Okay.
So I mean, it's great that he's the president right now, and I guess he's doing well. But they have to look at boxing as a sport and as a business, not just look at it as entertainment. Like invest everything in soccer and just throw something to boxing once in a while. We need to do better. So boxing has given Ghana a lot of name around the world, from Azuma
very true.
Ikote, Joshua Klote, Abeko, all those guys. We all elevated the name of Ghana through boxing. That's true. I think our leaders need to look into that, look into boxing,
all right,
and help develop the game, especially with the infrastructure like gyms and facilities to help the people that want to go that route. Because look at Accra, like every kid want to be a fighter. That's one thing I love about these Accra guys. Like, they are motivated, even though they don't have a lot, there's nothing, but they always try. And when people try, you got to give them a push. You have to help them. So the government have to do something about that.
Yeah, for the young guys who know about Mr. Kofi Jantuah and what you've achieved in the sport and what you are at the moment and where you find yourself, I'm sure, and you've already got a lot of requests from this boy saying that, say, help me, I want to get there to fight and everything already.
Yeah.
What would you want to tell? What would you have to tell these kids? Hello, Mr. Jantuah. Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, sir, can you hear me? All right, guys, looks like we've lost Mr. Jantuah there, but we're trying to get him on the show so that we can wrap it up. Like if you heard very clear, he's done it all, from Kumasi to the Bukom, and from Bukom to Germany to the US. Now he finds himself at the Money Team's gym, which is the TMT gym, Floyd Mayweather's gym, where he's been able to, achieve a lot of things. He's a former Commonwealth champion. He's a former WBC international champion. He's also a former Ghana champion. Hello, Mr. Jantuah, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Wow. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Hello, Mr. Jantuah, can you hear me? Wow. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. So I was saying that for these fighters who are in Ghana, I'm sure some of them have already buzzed your inbox and all that, who wants to get opportunity for them to fight in your space or get opportunity to fight in the States. What would you have to tell them?
To get here is not just easy to just come to state and fight. You have to have a profile.
Right.
You have to build yourself up a little bit, and then when you get, right now things are easy. You can send a video, you can send something that we can look at.
Right.
You can we look at your record, you look at your background, and then when we see that every promoter need a potential fighter, and it's always a market for a fighter. So if the talent is there, there's always a room for everybody.
Okay.
But you have to come with something. You have to bring something to the table. That's the main thing.
Okay. All right. Ghanaians will not forgive me if I don't ask you this. They want to know, especially the boxers. They want to know if you start a promotions company here in Ghana.
Right now, I can't say much to that.
Okay.
Yes, it's something that I would like to do. It's something that I would like to do.
Okay.
But not at the moment. Maybe, in year 2 or 3, yeah, yes. It's something that I'm interested. I have to. I feel obligated that I have to be able to give back to the society. I have to be able to come back and do something, because not just Kumasi, Accra, for me to be a boxer, the people in Accra helped me a lot.
Right.
They give me the challenge. They give me the drive to be able to succeed. Because if it wasn't the people from Accra or the fighters from Accra, I wasn't going to be able to do anything.
Right.
I had your competition. See, a lot of people look at boxing as your opponent like your enemy. No, your opponent is a competition. Your competition that's challenging you to be better. And those guys did that for me. They challenge me and bring something out of me, and that's why I was able to get to this level.
Okay. All right. Great. I mean, it's an interaction. It's an interactive. So I would like to take some few questions from the people that are watching us. Somebody's asking, so Mr. Jantuah, does it mean you can be skillful when you start boxing at a late age?
Skillful is we have skill, a different form of skill. Right. Ability to punch is a skill. Ability to be defensive is a skill. Right. Ability to have a footwork is a skill.
Okay.
So it depends what your abilities are. We all have different abilities in our game. Like, for example, Kofi had a very strong jab, and that was he developed it to a point that it carried him through everything.
All right.
Azuma wasn't very, finesse, but he was all-round fighter. Azuma was, he can box and he can fight.
Right.
But my favorite amongst all Ghanaian fighters was Afrikote.
Okay, Afrikote.
Afrikote was a hell of a fighter.
Right.
He was beyond belief. He was he was very skilled.
Right.
Very, very skilled with defense, speed, technicalities, footwork. He had everything. But the only thing I think he was lacking was his only thing that he was lacking was the lack of discipline, like his work ethic.
Okay.
That was something I think that was his downfall. Okay. If Afrikote was like a hard worker, like somebody like Azuma, or he had a potential to be like in a level of Mayweather. That he was that good.
Okay.
Because I remember I sparred with him before.
Okay.
Look at Afrikote was a very little guy. But I had a spar with him, I think 2 occasions, and I didn't want to get in there with him ever again.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But he was that good. He was good. Like, it's unfortunate how his life and his career, took a nosedive, and it's one of those things. It's hard to talk about that.
All right, guys. All too soon. We've already had Mr. Jantuah on the show for an hour, which is like an extended talk. I really, really want to thank him for making time for us, and for everybody that tuned in to watch. I'm sure you've been able to, get as much as information, and I've asked almost all your questions for you, Mr. Jantuah. Before you go, I would like to get your last words and some motivation and something for the guys, to keep them going.
I will tell the young fighters to stay focused. This is what you want to do. Do it to the best of your ability. Try. But the boxing is about learning. Focus on learning. Keep learning. Keep learning. The more you learn, the better. Because you get to a point, especially when you're young, try to learn the right stuff. And that will carry you to the top. You know, the basics, like they say, the basics never fade. It never change, never go away, it never get old. So when you get the basics right, you know, you can build on it every time. It's like building a house with a good foundation. You can always build on it. So my advice to all the young and new fighters is to focus more on learning the technical side of boxing, the skill level, the skill side. And you know, that's my thing to them. And I wish everybody, you know, the best, and hopefully, you know, we all can come in and help the game grow in Ghana.
All right, great. I mean, hopefully we'd like to see you help the guys grow in Ghana, like you said. Guys, like I said, we've already had this man on the show for more than the normal time that we've had. So pardon me if I wasn't able to ask your question, but I will try and talk to him some other time, and maybe he will join us, and then we'll also get into the other questions that I was not able to reach. Mr. Jantuah, on behalf of every Ghanaian and every Kboxtv viewer, I would like to say a very big thank you for making time for us, and we wish you very well.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay. All right, guys. So my guest on the show was Mr. Kofi Jantuah. It's been a very good show, and thank you for making time. God willing, we'll be back here, God willing, next week, Wednesday, with another guest. Have a very good evening and enjoy yourself.